Humanity, I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. I'm so Ray. As you know, my videos are about love, infinity, creation, energy, because we're infinite love, we're infinite energy, we're infinite creation. This is who we are. We're the human race. We're the human race. Yeah, so it's all about love. It's all about love. And love is the highest energy of creation. So this video is about, it's another infinite virtue cycle. It's a beautiful infinite virtue cycle, and it's this infinite virtue cycle. It's the relationship between the human heart and the DNA key, right? The DNA key and the human heart. It's this interaction. It's this infinite virtue cycle, this infinite virtue cycle of the human heart and DNA key. Okay, because so let's start with the human heart. It's an infinite cycle that goes to infinity. It just goes to infinity as all virtue cycle, because it's the duality principles. It's these two elements coming together as one, and they just form the most beautiful thing, the most beautiful creations. And this one is an amazing one because it's humanity itself, is a human heart, and who we are, our DNA key. Okay, so it's the key that opens our DNA, the human heart. Okay, so let's start at the epicenter. Let's start with the human heart. So remember, the primordial instinct of the human species is the human heart. Okay, why? Because of the heartbeat. It's the pulse of life, the pulse of creation. It's what gives us life. Okay, so it's the epicenter. It's where everything starts. The human heart is at the epicenter of the human body. It generates the electromagnetic field, which is light spherical energy. And at the heart of that epicenter is the heart. That's why it's called the heart. Because it's the core, it's the center, it's the epicenter. Okay, so it's this beautiful, beautiful organ, the human heart. So essentially, the pulse of life is the pulse of creation is the human heartbeat. It generates the electromagnetic field of creation, right? And this is our nature. You see, the primordial instinct is the first instinct. The first instinct is the heartbeat. Pulse of life, the pulse of creation. As a result of that, everything else happens, because without it we wouldn't exist. So we exist, right? Who we are as a species, our DNA, our species, the space structure that we are, the human body, our consciousness, our self-awareness, our intelligence, our sentience, our feelings, our emotions, everything about us, our memories, everything that we've ever built, our heritage, our legacy, our history, our story, the story of humanity, everything that exists is because of the human heart. Without it, none of these things would exist, because the human heart is a primordial instinct. It's the instinct to live, the instinct to exist as a species. So the biological creator is the human heart. So the human heart is a biological creator. You see, my previous video was this infinite virtue cycle of sun and earth coming together in this infinite virtue cycle, right? That's beautiful. And then what happens? Well, we happen. We come from planet Earth. So, and the sun created the conditions for us to be who we are. So essentially, in the end, what's happened is that the DNA structure became what it became to this level of consciousness and self-awareness in a big way because of this interaction of the sun and the earth as one. And we evolved into our current life form, organism, our DNA structure, our DNA, and everything that exists, so us, is because of the heart. So the biological creator is the human heart, you see, because it creates everything. It's the pulse of life, it's the pulse of creation, it's the epicenter of the electromagnetic field. And the highest energy that the human heart generates is love. Love is the highest energy. So you see, at the epicenter of the sphere in a singularity, which is what we are. With the human heart is a biological singularity that creates everything. Everything comes out of the heart. So if you understand these, then you would understand that then, so what's the highest energy? If that is the epicenter, what's the highest energy of the singularity? Well, the highest energy is love. Love is the energy of creation, you see, and with love we create everything. Everything, our consciousness, our self-awareness, our actions, everything come out of love, because it's the highest energy of creation. You see, just like our central sun in the universe, where we come from, our sun, at the very epicenter of it, at its own singularity of that electromagnetic field that is the sun, that, what is at the epicenter of that? Well, it's at the hottest point, the brightest point of the sun, right? This big spherical energy. And at that very point where all points meet, on the tension of the surface of the electromagnetic field that generates that singularity that creates the sun, and then at the core of the sun is the point of release where all the energy gets released, all the light, right? All the photons, the elements, hydrogen and helium, just to name a few. So that all that energy is released from that core point. It's the hottest, brightest point, the most energetically dense, right? The most energy, the highest vibration comes from that point. So, and creation is all about scales of creation, and we are the biological scale of creation. Okay, so our creator is the sun. So spherical energy. That's why we're spherical energy ourselves, because we're the image of the creator. So essentially, the electromagnetic field of the human heart is electrical in nature. It's an energy. This is electromagnetic field of creation. And at the epicenter of it is the human heart. So that is the point, right? It's like the sun. It's what generates the energy. So, but then what's the highest energy that you can generate at the epicenter of the sun? At the epicenter of the heart, the highest energy of creation? Love. Love is the highest energy. And just like the sun at the brightest point, the highest energy point, creates all this light and all these elements, the same is with us at the biological scale. So love is the highest energy of creation, and all the primary elements that make us as humans are created as a result of that. Our identity and our true self, our purpose of our own choice, time and energy, action, why, how, flow, true north and destination. You see, we manifest free will with our purposeful daily action. That's the proof. And that comes from the heart, the highest energy of creation, because we're creating, you see, consciousness, self-awareness, intelligence, sentience, all these, the senses, right? Everything, all the glands, all the organs, they go live, the systems go live, we exist, and all the singularities that happen in the body as a result of the resonance of the human heart that leads to all the other singularities in the human body, consciousness and self-awareness. So what is the outcome of that? Well, the outcome is us, the space structure density of the electromagnetic field of the human body, which is the human heart, and that is us, the way we look, the way we feel, the way we act. But what's the highest energy that allows all that to exist? Love, because it's the highest energy of the human heart. You see, it's the highest energy that creates. So when you love, you engage in love, then you're creating the most beautiful things. So you're creating your identity and your true self, your purpose. You love yourself, you can love your creation, you love others as a result. You see, you love the creations of others. You also create biological creations, your own children. You make love, you have children. So it's this beautiful, beautiful, infinite virtuous cycle of this biological singularity, which is the human heart. It's this highest energy of creation. It's just energy that creates, that creates, that creates, that creates, and it never stops creating, because we are infinite in nature. This is who we are. We're the human species. We're a remarkable species. We're an incredible species. We're the human race. This is precisely who we are. We are the human race, right? We are the human race. This is our nature. This is who we are. This is who we are. This is just who we are. It's objective reality. It's our nature. And the highest energy is love. You see this beautiful electromagnetic field of creation. Powerful. Powerful. It's just incredible. It's just incredible who we are as a species, what we've done, and everything that we've done is because of the human heart. You see, it's a human heart. It's a human heart. It's the highest energy of creation. So okay, so I have established what the human heart is. The human heart is this, is the engine, is the pump, right? Contraction, retraction, the pulse of life, the pulse of creation, and love is the highest energy, so everything exists because of it. Okay? All our creations, our senses, everything, intelligence, self-awareness, and consciousness, everything emerges out of love, out of the highest energy of the heart that creates everything that exists from a biological point of view, so we can be aware and conscious of that as a species. Remarkable. So this is a human heart. But we're talking about this infinite virtuous cycle of human heart and DNA key, right? So where does the human heart come from? From the DNA structure, right? Our DNA sequence. So it's our DNA, right? The heart and the heart cells and the information that essentially decodifies into cells, and these cell structures form into hearts and all the body and the space structure of the biology of who we are, right? That all comes from DNA, and the DNA is in each cell of the human body for a reason, because it's the mechanism that connects everything. Is a node that connects it to everything, a consciousness, a self-awareness, and existence itself, because we're all energy, we're all connected. This idea is just the way it is. So you see, so the DNA has this mechanism, and the mechanism is the heart, so we can exist, so we can have a heartbeat, so we can be alive, we live, we can breathe, we can exist, right? We can be here, conscious and self-aware, intelligent, having free will, and manifesting our purposeful daily action, doing all the things that we do, our dreams, our thoughts, our memories, everything is because of the human heartbeat, because it's what starts everything, is the origin, is the source, is the point of origin, is the first instinct, is the primordial instinct of the human race, the human heart, the pulse of life, the pulse of creation, right? So it is as simple as that. So then, but that still is full circle. This still comes from the DNA. All the information is coded in the DNA, so the human heart can form into what it is. So, it starts in the embryonic development process, right? Ontogenesis, it's, so then again, it's all DNA, but it's, the egg and sperm coming together, right? It's the mother and the father making love, right? And then the sperm, fecunds, right? The egg. So the egg then forms, right? Because of the genetic information of the sperm and the genetic information of the egg together as one. And when they come together as one, then this process starts, and it starts where? Inside the mother. But why is the process even possible in the first place? Because the mom is alive, right? And why is it that you can have sperm in the seed, right, in the first place? Because the father is alive, and the father is alive because the father has a human heart. And then you see both parents have a heart, so they can sustain themselves, so they can secrete these from this gland, because you see the ovaries and the testicles are glands, and they secrete the egg and the sperm, and they come together and they meet each other, and when the egg gets fecunded, right, fecunds, the egg is the gestation, right, when it becomes fertile, a fertile egg, because the mom as a host is a healthy adult, and the father has a healthy egg, a healthy sperm, a healthy seed, and they come together and the gestation process starts, because you need them both, right? It's the polarity, the opposites meeting, right? This infinite virtuous cycle of sperm and egg, right? Sperm and egg, right, is this infinite virtuous cycle, right? That they come together as one. They come together as one, right? The seed of life is that, right? The seed, human sperm, right? And then the egg, and then they together come, and the process of life starts. But what powers that? In the beginning was the human heart of each adult coming together, right? Polarities meeting, biologically speaking, and then life forms as a result of that, right? Which is this embryonic development, ontogenesis, the beginning of it all. So because of that, then that egg stays inside the mother, right? And eventually forms into a womb and all that in the placenta. Okay. So all this process starts because the mom's still alive and it has all this energy. And it already got all the DNA information needed from the male, from the parent, from the father, encoded in that seed. The DNA structure. It's already encoded in there. Okay? So that information is already there. So then the mother is the host. It keeps the egg inside of her, and that egg needs energy, and that energy comes from the human heart, from the mom's human heart, because in that egg, all the information is coming from the DNA of the mother already. So these two start to form, and eventually a zygote forms, which is an early stage of the embryonic development, ontogenesis. And then is the human heart of the mother that is making sure that these forms, is the electricity, the current, you see, that allows all these to allow what? Well, for the information encoded in the DNA structure of both as one, the sperm, the seed, and the egg, in the state of gestation, because it has been fecunded, it has come together into something that we call life, the early biological formation of life, right? The very early stages, the ontogenesis. And what powers all this information in the DNA structure to decode into cells? So the information stored inside of it starts to form into new cell groups and organisms that start to grow together in homeostasis, these beautiful synergistic symbiosis of ontogenesis, right? What is it? Well, it's the energy from the human heart, from the mom's heart, that is powering the cells at a biochemical level. So all these signals and signs, chemical in nature, biochemistry, start to send messages across themselves, and they start to interact. And what is that where is that information coming from? Where is the information coming from for all these cells to start to form into different groups of cells? So the embryonic development starts, ontogenesis. They come from the DNA sequence, from the DNA structure, the key, DNA key. And the DNA key is powered by what? By the energy from the heart. So the energy of the heart is essentially powering the sequence of the DNA, sending the signals. So the information starts to be decoded, and it starts to form into cell groups. And there is a process to that called ontogenesis. All right. And then at around the 20th day or 22nd day, then the embryonic development stage, the embryo develops its own heart, its own pulse of life. It's capable, its own singularity. It doesn't need an external singularity to power anymore. It has its own singularity powering it. So the system becomes decentralized, so it can actually operate within the placenta, within the womb, in that environment, because it has the DNA key decoded enough information in the way of cell formation for the heart to form in that singularity as a pulse. So now the system is, because if you look at that stage, it's still like it looks like a ball. It's spherical. It's all these cells coming together in a ball of cells. They're all together at that stage still. And then the heart forms. This pulse. And then that is the singularity at the epicenter of that system. So the energy, the system decentralized from the mother in that way at a level of energy generation, meaning the pulse is what powers all the new decoding of that structure, because now it's starting to map out the space structure density of the electromagnetic field that is generating after that pulse at that scale of creation. So then you start to see that when the human heartbeat forms at the embryonic level, gestation at around the 20 to 22nd day, when it happens, the process starts, it accelerates exponentially, because now it has its own power source, its own singularity at the epicenter. And it comes from that signal. And that signal, what is it doing? Well, that energy is going straight to all the cells. And each cell has DNA within them. So all the cells get the signal at to which stage of development and threshold they're meeting. So they start to form into new groups of cells, because the information is clear. The information is moving to where it's supposed to move, because it's decentralized now. And after a new pulse and new cells are created, then the system learns from itself by the feedback of the energy pulse, because the cells are communicating the information back to the heart. So the heart knows the stage, because it knows that there is new cells, new formations, because the DNA is being decoded. You see, the DNA is being decoded, and then it starts to form, and the heart gets stronger, so the body gets stronger as a result. You see, and then new cells, and it starts to grow, and then you start to see the parts of the body, early formation of the organs, early formation of the body parts, and everything, because of that pulse that allowed it to decode. So the information is starting to decode. But where does the information come from for all that information to be decoded in the way of an embryo? From the DNA. And the DNA is within each cell. But what powers that? So the DNA starts to decode and form into cells. The pulse of life, the pulse of creation, the human heart. In the very early stages, the moms, but then it's decentralized, and it's the embryo's heart, and eventually the fetus that is a lot bigger. So that is what starts to form everything as a result, you see. Because every time the heart sends a signal, then that signal goes to all the cells of the body. In that case, still early formation. So, and then that information gets received, and then the DNA gets decoded, and then it sends a message back. Next signal, and it goes like this. So you see, it's the heart that is making sure that the signals keep on going. So the DNA gets the new feedback and meeting all the new thresholds, because once a group of cells are formed, there is no need to generate those cells anymore, because it met the threshold, meaning the organ has already been formed. So now let's form the leg, or form this, or form that. You see, but there is a process to all this, because all this information is encoded within the DNA. But the information needs to be signaled. It needs a feedback loop that allows it to know at which stage of it is. And the heart, being at the epicenter, is the signal that tells them the stage of the development. Why? Because each signal is getting feedback from all the cells, because the information is going all over all the body cells. So every time the DNA gets the new feedback, the new electricity, then it knows at which state it is, because of the feedback loop. It's conscious of the stage at which it's finding itself. So then it knows what information to decode next, because it's essentially learning based on the structures around it, because each cell has its own electromagnetic field, and the cells communicate among themselves because of signaling. You see, it's all electric, but biochemical, it's biochemistry. So if you understand this and what this means, you see the heart plays this major role, because the heart and the signal of it is to what? To the DNA key, which is this feedback that I'm talking about, this feedback, right? This infinite feedback of creation. This infinite feedback of creation. So given the nature of that, so you understand how the heart plays this major role. From the very beginning, in the beginning, the father's heart and the mother's heart, so they can have these glands, the ovary and the testicle, capable of, creating this cell, this organism, which is a group of cells, which is, in the case of the mother, the egg, the case of the father, the sperm, the seed. So because of the two hearts, right, coming together as one and doing that. And then they make love. So love happens as a result of that, right? They're creating life. And then that information from the father gets in there, in the egg, and everything that you need from the father at that stage is already encoded in the seed. So the mom has the egg has her own, all the information, all the signaling needed from the mother. All the information is there. And the mother powers out with the heart until it has its own heart, and it does it on its own. And then you have the heart of the mother and the heart of the fetus or the embryo, and those two is infinite cycle again, virtuous infinite cycle of two hearts within one body. Keeping on. So the mom's heart is signaling the body for a different set of tools. So different tasks. So the mom's heart is signaling all the body cells through the DNA to do what? To feed the fetus, whatever the fetus needs, because the human heart of the fetus, which is getting the signaling from all the new organisms and all the new cells that are decoded as ontogenesis in the embryonic development and the fetus development, to do what? To talk to each other. The hearts are talking with each other. The organisms are talking. So this organism is telling me, I need this. And this organism says, okay, here you go. All you need. And it's connected through the cord. All the nutrients, all the different things that the body and the new organs that are created because of the decoding of these cells requires for them to grow. So you see, so from one heart to other heart, creating life, and then the heart of the mother ensuring that that organism exists, and that when that organism is decentralized and independent and distributed, so it powers its own internal decoding of the DNA structure, then that communicates back to the original sources, the mom's heart. So they now have this signaling. So one body is signaling all the cells in the body to feed what this one needs. So it's this infinite virtuous cycle of creation again, you see, because of the human heart. All because of the human heart. Because the human heart is signaling, right? The pulse of life, the pulse of creation. All the cells, and each cell has genetic information in them, in DNA. So all that information is being decoded and moved in the way of signals to either create and decode into forms. And how do you grow those cells? How do you grow that? Well, you need to be fed by the cord, so the actual fetus or the embryo grows as a result of what? The feedback, because the information just happens. And you see, so this is from the very early stages of our species. We are already signaling with the heart. Everything is the heart. The heart is the most important thing. So without the heart, nothing would exist. You see? Because it's the heart that allows to signal what? All the organs. And when you're an adult, say the mom with the fetus inside or the embryo inside in the womb, the placenta, all that. So where is that signal from the heart, the pulse of life, the pulse of creation? What is that doing? Well, that is leading to what? Well, it's sending signals to the brain. So the brain does its thing. To all the other organs. So the other organs do their thing. And then that information is collected in the way of organic matter and signals, biochemical, in the way of cells moving across. And information moving across those cells and all these different, because everything is cells. So it moves across the cord and then it feeds the kid, right? Feeds the baby that's been grown. Right? Because if you think about it, the cord is made out of cells, where it's all these nutrients and all these things that are moving around. And what moves those nutrients? All these different things, right? You need all these organisms that move them. All these are cells. So you see, and within each of those cells, there is DNA. So it's all about DNA and the heart, the signaling. So that's how the mechanism works. So this is why you have this infinite virtuous cycle of human heart and DNA. Key. Why? Because the DNA is a key, meaning to do what? To decode the DNA. Right? The DNA key, right? The key that decodes the DNA. So the DNA does its thing, which is to form, to create, to do whatever at any stage. Because this is infinite information contained within it. Because the DNA of the human race is the DNA of infinity itself. Because of what we have evolved into, right? But we're just talking about the early stages so you understand how this mechanic works. But what is giving the DNA? So what is opening the key of the DNA? The DNA key, how is it that the DNA key does its thing? So it creates a new cell group or signals some information, because the DNA is that. It's like the real brains of the cell. Right? Everything is contained in it. Everything is all the information is the DNA memory is contained within the DNA, and you need the DNA key to be enabled, so it does it. It opens it, it unlocks it, so it happens. So the feedback happens. But what feeds back it? What signals it? The heart. So it's the heart with the electricity of the heart, because the heart, when it sends that signal, that current, where is that current going? Well, that current is a feedback that goes to all the body cells. Right? It's electricity. It's a signal. It goes to all the body cells. All of them. Every heartbeat is connected to all, because it's the epicenter of what? The electromagnetic field that created the human heart in the first place. Because of the electromagnetism. So you see, every time there is a pulse, that pulse is a signal that goes all over the body. All over the body. And the body cells. And each cell has DNA in them. So you see, it's always the heart. The heart is the one that signals, and it needs the signal because when it's as a singularity, right? It's the point where all points meet. Singular point where all points meet. And what points where, and the biological scale, was the space structure of the sphere, of the electromagnetic field, the organs, the body, space structure density, right? All the cells. So you see the cells are a signal, and when they are signal, they give a signal back, because it's feedback, it's communication. You send and you receive. So the heart is signaling with a pulse to get a feedback of the status of the system, life status of the system, all the cells or the DNA, everything. So that information is collected, and then the next pulse is the update of the new system of what happened, the status. So it's a constant status update. So signals, right? So then that's because of those signals. They're very intelligent signals. Because the human heart is incredible, because the DNA is amazing. So then again, all these signals, what are these signals doing? Well, these signals are what? Signaling the cells at the cellular level. So the DNA within each of those cells does its work. Whatever it's supposed to do, whatever key needs to decode for the next step, whatever the next step is. So it all happens at the DNA level. So there you see heart, human heart, DNA key. So it's the signal from the heart that unlocks the DNA key. So the DNA then does whatever it's supposed to do as a result of the feedback that it's getting. So this is an infinite virtuous cycle of creation, and this goes to infinity. It's just infinity. Remember, I'm just explaining it at that level of creation so you understand how everything starts, because ontogenesis is the genesis, is the beginning, right? And this is what infinity is the beginning of everything, what comes and creates everything. So, and we are the DNA of infinity. So we are infinity ourselves, but you need to understand our nature, what the human heart is and what it means and what it represents and what it does and what it really does. because there's all sorts of misinformation, and beyond misinformation, misunderstandings and misrepresentations of objective reality because of many reasons. Dogma is one of them. But we are in modern times, so in reality it's lack of understanding, lack of coherence. But that's what I'm here for. Okay, so then you understand this. So then the signaling happens. So you got this infinite virtuous cycle, right, that goes to infinity. The human heart and the DNA key, opening everything. Okay, so then you grow into adulthood, and now you're conscious and self-aware, right, because you have a human heart, and you're every time you're emitting a pulse, then you're sending signals to your body. So your body is reacting to all those signals, right? Because you have cells all over the body, because every pulse goes to the body, to all the cells, and then the cells get that signal. And what is the brains of the cell? The DNA. The DNA is the enabler at the cellular level, is what does everything, because the information of everything is contained at the DNA level. Is the DNA within the cell that is essentially the next step happens as a result of the feedback. So it comes right, human heart signals, then the cell gets the signal, and then the DNA actions that signal, and that signal decodes whatever next happens. And that could be anything, because there's an infinite number of signals. So then again, that could be new cell formation, rejuvenation, right, regeneration, healing, or it could be secretion of any sort. If you're a gland, if you're an organ, could be more signaling, could be anything. Thoughts, memories, right? Because all these things happen. Emotions, feelings, they're energy densities, right? Energy densities. You need to understand thoughts are the energy densities. It's all that, right? So where does love come from? From the human heart. So it's all about the human heart in the end, you see, because the human heart is the highest energy of creation, because it's the epicenter of the electromagnetic field that is our singularity. So then again, it's this infinite virtuous cycle of the human heart and the DNA key, right? So I have established this very basic notion, this very basic principle, is objective reality. This objective reality. Okay, and I apologize about the noise outside, because my neighbor is very noisy, and he loves making noise with his tools and stuff. That's what he does every day, a lot. He loves cutting grass every day, particularly when I'm making videos. He loves that. That's what he does every day. Every day he does that, makes a lot of noise. So it's okay, that's just his nature. It's just he loves cutting grass. That's what he does every day. He cuts a lot of grass. Got a big house with a lot of grass. So essentially, what that means is that you see, it's a human heart. It's a human heart, right? It's a signal. It signals everything. So we established that the highest energy of creation is love, right? Because it comes from the human heart. So it's the highest energy of creation. Love is the highest energy of creation. Is what it is. It's the highest energy of creation. There's nothing higher than the creation at the biological scale of the human heart, because then again, everything starts with the heart. So when you love, you have your heart, right? So when you love with all your heart and all your might, what are you doing? Well, you're signaling the whole body. You see? You're signaling the whole body. That's what you're doing. So you're signaling the whole body. So the whole body is getting a signal. From where? From the heart. And what signal is it? Love. Right? It's the highest energy of creation, as you can see. So it's the highest energy of creation. Love is the highest energy of creation. That's just the way it is. So when you are signaling love and you're sending this information, right? When you're sending this information, right? When you're sending this information, right? You're sending love, which is the highest energy of creation. And what do you think the body is doing? So each cell has DNA in it, right? So you're signaling them. So love is the highest energy, which means because you have the highest energy, the highest signal, and you're signaling your whole body with love, then that means that the message that is going to be decoded with a DNA key that opens whatever you're after will happen as a result of that, because it's the highest energy, meaning that you can tap into the deep structures of the DNA inner works. as an organism, because love is the highest energy of creation. And remember, high energy, high creation. So when you have the highest energy of creation, when you have the highest energy of creation, which is love, signaling your whole body, all your cells, with the highest energy of creation, what do you think happens? Well, infinity happens, because love is the highest energy of creation and love is infinity. So because you have infinity and love working as one, because that's what they are, infinity is love. It's just conscious energy coming from the human heart. Because what's love? Well, love is this conscious thought, this conscious action that you understand what you're doing, and you're doing it with all your love because it's your energy and it's a feeling. You feel it. Love is the highest energy, right? It's the highest energy that we can create with our hearts. It's the highest energy that we can create with our heart, because it's love. It's the energy that comes from the heart that signals everything. It signals everything. Okay? For example, that person outside making noise, that person has a heart. And right now, that heart is going like this. Look, it's pumping. And what is that heart doing while it's pumping? Well, it's sending signals to the whole body. So the body is reacting to the signals coming from the heart. And because that person loves cutting grass, his body is doing a very good job at cutting grass. You see, he's moving around and doing it very nicely and cutting the grass very well, because he loves so much. You see, it's all love he's got in his heart. So all that signal send it to the whole body, so his hands and the cells of his hands and the cells of his bones and everything acts accordingly. And then he holds the tool like he's supposed to hold it, and then he does everything that he's supposed to do to cut that grass really well. You see, and then you look at the lawns, and the lawns, they look beautiful, because you see, it's the intention. His intention be behind the action, because his heart is so loving and there is so much love in his heart that he wants to cut that grass very well. And because he's cutting that grass very well, his body is reacting to it, and the signals that the body is getting is, let's make sure that we cut that grass really well to make it look beautiful, because when we have a beautiful lawn, I feel good. You see, it's all about love. It's all about love. It's about making sure that the grass looks good. So then you can use all these clips of grass, and then you can feed your plants with it, right? All your landscapes, and you fill your plants, and then you see, it's this harmonious ecosystem. It's this harmonious ecosystem where you have everything working as one, you see? So that's just an example of what I'm trying to say. So is that, right? Is the love. So that's just an example of a basic activity, which is cutting grass. Cutting grass is a very basic activity, right? Very basic. Some people might even call it mundane. But even if there's a mundane activity, there is love there, because the individual that is doing it loves what he's doing, you see? And he's putting all that love in the signaling of his heart, so the body does the job. So the lawns look really good and really nice. So that's essentially what you do, right? So that's an example of an activity as adults, as grown-ups, right? Loving, cutting that grass really well, right? Loving with all your heart and all your might, and going, beyond the noise, so you understand that, the grass looks really good, right? Because that's the whole reason why you're doing that, because you love making sure that your garden looks good, right? Because it's good for your eyes, and then it's good for your garden, because you get all those garden clips, right? And then you put them, and then what? In your compost. And you grow your flowers, right? Which is life, right? So you're growing all your life, You're growing all your life with the life that you took from the grass, right? Because of the love of your hearts. So that's how it works. So that's an example, right? So now let's go to real conversations here. So then what do we do then as a result of that? What do we do as a result of that, right? So we understand that we're conscious and self-aware as adults, and that we know that love is the highest energy of creation, right? That's what we do, right? That's what we do, right? We understand that love is the highest energy of creation, right? Love is the highest energy of creation. We have established this because it's the highest energy that the human heart can generate, and love is the highest energy of everything, because love is everything, because the heart creates everything. And because the heart creates everything, then that means that love is everything, because it's the highest energy of the heart. So this is an infinite cycle, you see. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Well, what are we doing is loving, because we understand now that love is the highest energy of creation. And the human heart is what loves. So when you love and all your energy is focused on loving, right? When all your energy is focused on loving, right? When all your energy is focused on loving, right? What happens as a result of that? You're signaling every cell of your body. Every cell of your body at all levels is getting the signal of love. So what does that do? Well, every cell has DNA within it, right? So you decoding love, the energy of love is essentially being decoded at a cellular level, which is the highest energy of creation. And when you do that, what does your body do? Well, it works at the optimal level because it's the highest energy that it can generate. So your body is in resonance with love. And when your body is in resonance with love, then you're starting to decode DNA keys that are very energetically dense. Why? Because you need love to untap into the highest energies, right? Just like the central sun of our universe, which is right there outside our sun, right? That we all that energy goes into our eyes, and our eyes are what? Eye cells. Many different types, because there is many cells in the eye. The iris, which is what absorbs the light, right? Then it's getting supercharged by that energy from the sun, right? Which is high energy, right? And it comes through the body. So the DNA is getting supercharged by this energy. But because you're loving at the same time, then you know that that energy is purposeful, because you're loving the cell. So you're signaling the cell love. And then when the energy of the sun comes into the cell, then is the energy of the sun supercharging the cell plus the energy of your heart of love, which is the highest, coming together as one. So this is a very powerful combination. It's the highest, most powerful combination that you can, because you're getting the energy of creation through your eyes that created us in the first place, and the highest energy that you can create as an organism, which is love, that comes from the heart. So it's two signals: the signal into the eye from the sun, and the signal from the heart. And that cell is meeting at the epicenter of that. So what is the DNA gonna do? Well, the DNA key, right? The DNA key unlocks. And what is it unlocking? Well, whatever you can unlock with that energy of density, that density of energy. Because it's very high, right? Because remember, the energy gets channeled through the iris when you're staring at the sun. But it doesn't stop at the iris. Like everything is energy, gets distributed. We got all sorts of systems and mechanisms in the human body to distribute signals, right? That's how the heart does it, right? So then, same, whatever signaling that the heart is using to communicate the message is the same channels that the energy from the sun coming straight into the eye is used to communicate the message. So all the energy that is coming into the eyes is moving across all the body. You see, like the signal from the heart is the same. The energy from the sun straight into the body. So it becomes this duality nature. Is the energy from the sun and the human heartbeat as one. Because the energy from the sun is allowing us to love more. Because it's sending the message to our cells and saying, hey, get ready, because that's a lot of energy. So now you can use this energy. Let's use this energy. And when you send in the signal with your heart of love, you're signaling, hey, let's use this energy purposefully. Let's use this energy purposefully. That's what I meant to say, sorry. Let's use this energy purposefully, right? So the energy supercharges our human body, coming straight into our eyes. It supercharges our human body, right? All the cells. And the cells are charged with this energy from the sun that came straight through our eyes. It gets distributed through the systems. The same systems used for the signaling of the human heart to distribute messages across the whole body, because it's the epicenter, right? It's the singularity. So it's the heart is at the epicenter of the electromagnetic field. And the electromagnetic field is the space structure. The space structure density of the electromagnetic field is the human body. So everything in the human body gets signaled by the singularity, which is the human heart. So when the energy comes in straight into our body, our electromagnetic field meets the electromagnetic field of the sun, and our eyes catch all this new light. All that information goes into all the DNA cells, all the cells of the body, and the DNA is there. So that energy gets there. So, and when you send love, then it's the key. So it's the DNA key that unlocks what? Well, the highest energy of creation that you could possibly do, because love is the highest energy. And then you're getting, on top of the highest energy that you're generating for the messaging, you're getting the highest energy of creation, which is the energy of the central sun through your body, through your eyes in this case. It has to be through your eyes, because this is the way we have evolved. The energy comes through our eyes. So then you have the energy of the sun coming into our eyes and the human heartbeat. And the human heart is generating the highest energy, right? Which is love. And then you have the energy coming straight into your eyes, right? Straight into your eyes, right? And this is two highest energies, right? And then this is this virtuous cycle that I'm talking about. Is this virtuous cycle, right? It's an incredible virtuous cycle. It's this just like, is a more remarkable virtuous cycle of them all, because it's just incredible. This virtuous cycle is the most remarkable of them all. Why? Very simple, because it's the two energy polarities coming as one, sunlight and love. Sunlight into all the body cells, into all of them, supercharging them. And then love, sending the message of A, because love is the messaging, right, of the body. It's epicenter, the singularity. So when that happens, these two elements meet. And when they meet, there's just the DNA key gets unlocked, which is this, right? Human heart, DNA key. Because remember, the energy is already supercharged in the cell. The cells of the body are supercharged with the energy from the sun already. That came straight from the eyes, right? And the whole body has the energy in the already there, waiting to be what? Used. And what is the key that signals it? The DNA. But what is the signal? The heart. And if the energy of the heart is love, which is the highest energy of creation, then you're telling with the highest energy of creation, let's use this energy that you have in a loving manner. So the DNA gets DNA key A. It opens up a new level of whatever the DNA can do, because the DNA is infinite and it can do anything, because it's the structure, it's the biological expression of infinity itself, because this is who we are. So essentially, and what's love? Well, love is intention. And you're loving something, right? You love something. Say, for example, that you love our friend, my neighbor. He loves cutting grass, right? So all his intention, all his love is making sure that the grass looks good, right? So you see, he's signaling his whole body to make sure that he does the best job that he can possibly do to make sure that that grass looks beautiful. Beautiful, perfect, right? So everyone is the talk of town. Oh, look how nice the grass is in that house. A beautiful lawn, right? So apply the same logic to real things, big things, because this is a mundane activity. Okay, so let's talk about real things, real life application, right? So you use the same energy from the sun. So you're supercharging yourself and the energy is within you. So your body's loaded. Hey, you got all this energy, you're loaded up with energy from the sun, because your cells are packed with it. And the beauty of it is that you can get an infinite amount of energy because we're biology. So you're just using all this energy that's feeding you, right? So all your cells are there, right? All your cells are packed with energy, right? But then you have an intention. And the intention is, say, for example, your purpose, right? Purpose statements, purposeful goals, right? In my case, light spherical technology, okay? So I get all that energy, right? All that energy, right? Coming in. and my cells are loaded with it, right? Packed, right? Packed. So then with my thoughts, which the highest of energies, which is love, the infinite energy of creation, what's my thought? I'm signaling with my heart about my purpose, and my purpose is to manifest my light spherical technology, right? Right? So what do I do? Well, what do you think my DNA key will be then? Right? So my DNA key is doing what? It's decoding what? The DNA storing, the information stored in my DNA. And what information is that I intentionally am gaining access to with the energy that I'm getting from the sun plus the love of my heart that is opening that key? My spherical technology, right? My spherical technology, which is not only mine, it's humanity's, right? But I'm just an example. So with the love from my heart plus the supercharging of my cells with the energy, I'm opening the key. So you see my DNA key decodes what? Manifests what? Creates what? My intention of love, which is the highest energy of creation. Because it knows that my intentions are good. Because it's love. You cannot just... Love cannot be faked. Hey. Because it's an energy. It's biochemistry. The body knows. Because it's a resonance. It cannot be faked. You can't fake your way into love. Because it's signaling. The body knows the footprints and the keys to unlock things. It's the DNA of infinity that we're talking about here. This is not the DNA of a primitive life form. We're talking that we're the DNA of infinity itself at the epicenter of the universe. And we're the most ancient species with light spherical technology that's been encoded in our DNA an infinite number of cycles ago. Because this is who we are with the human race. We're not a random species. We're the most developed evolutionarily, biologically, and technologically species in all of the cosmos. So this is who we are. And when you're conscious of that and your intentions are clear and it's love and the body understands that you're unlocking it with love because it reads it, it's an energy frequency, it's a bandwidth, it's a key, right? And the key the DNA unlocks is using what energy? The energy from the sun, right? Plus your own energy because you are already that. So you see, is that singularity energy plus your own singularity meeting? And if the key is the accurate key, meaning creation itself, love, highest energy, then whatever your intention is, that's what your DNA does. And your DNA decodes that. Right? It decodes whatever you want it to because that's what we do with our consciousness and our self-awareness. So we are decoding what? In my case, my intention is clear. Light spherical technology. Simple as that. Light spherical technology, right? Why? Because light spherical technology is the best technology there is. It creates planets. It created planet Earth in the first place. It makes galaxies, right? Spaceships. It's the most advanced technology everyone wants. But only humans that love get. So it is as simple as that. So you see, it's this beautiful mechanism. It's beautiful. You see heart and DNA key. They come together as one. Right? They come together as one. Okay? This infinite cycle of creation to infinity. So you see, it's love that does it. Love does the trick. Why? Because love is the key that unlocks the DNA structure. Because it's the signal, you see? It's the signal. You see, it's the signal. It's the signal. And that signal is signaling what? Well, the DNA. Hey, this is what we want because we love and we can do it. And then you get the energy from the sun to supercharge the cells so you create more. And you manifest more beautiful things. Because we live here and now. This is where we live. We're conscious and self-aware here. now. So the only moment that we have is now, the pulse of life, the pulse of creation, infinite energy, infinite love. So you see, this is a beautiful virtuous cycle of creation. Beautiful virtuous cycle of creation, an infinite virtuous cycle of creation that is incredible. It's the most amazing, the most powerful virtuous cycle there is, because it's essentially tapping into our ancestral DNA, our ancient DNA, because we have evolved. I was chatting about that in my previous video, Sun and Earth, infinite virtuous cycle. That leads to what? Us evolving into what? Being able to be the DNA that we are, channeling the energy of the sun as portals. Because we're sundials. We stare at the sun, we open our hearts, open our eyes. And all that energy gets channeled through us. So we create, right? We create. We create. And that's what we do, because this is our nature. You see, that leads to this beautiful infinite virtuous cycle of compass and sandal. Us as compass, as infinite energy, and sandal. So you see the energy, sandal and compass as one. And this is what this is, right? Is the DNA key and the human heart, right? Getting all that energy from the sun and getting all that. And then the love comes and the intention is clear, because you create with your consciousness of awareness. And I love. And I really love. I love with all my heart, and my body knows it. That's why I feel good. That's why I know the things that I know. And that's why I make the videos I make, because I know this is important. You see, I know this is important. So because my DNA is smarter than me, because he created me in the first place. So he knows it too. You see, I'm just a channel. And not only me, I'm just an example. Everyone is a channel of their own DNA, which is the collective DNA of the human species anyway. Because we all one. We are the infinity, the biology of infinity. This is who we are with the human race. So you see, it's this infinite virtuous cycle. It's this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful infinite virtuous cycle, right? Infinite virtuous cycle. Beautiful infinite virtuous cycle, right? Of creation. In sync with everything, as one, right? As one. So you see, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. You see, it's just wonderful. It's just our nature. It's who we are as a species. The human race. You see, the human heartbeat signals. And the highest signal, the highest energy output is love. And that love goes to the DNA key. And the DNA key unlocks what? The coding. And the coding is what? The memory, DNA memories. Storing our DNA. So we're unlocking the memories. We're unlocking the DNA memories. Because the memories, you see, is part of our existence. So we need to see the memory and know what it is first, so then we can use it. And these memories are technology, right? This all the technology is stored in us, in our DNA, infinite DNA structure, because we have evolved for an infinite number of cycles to get to where we are. You see, we created this planet at the very epicenter of the sun, so we can evolve into this. We merge with our tech into this level of consciousness and this organism that is just capable of creating the most beautiful things. But it's love. The mechanism is love. It's the human heart. It's the highest energy. See, it's the highest energy that creates the DNA key. The love of the heart, the DNA key, and it unlocks anything, the DNA memories. So we have all these DNA memories that are being unlocked that allows us to do what? Well, once the memory is unlocked, and once everything is in place, and you know, and it's part of your identity and true self, then every time you signal, then that memory is there already, because you reached that new threshold, and love was the requirement to open it. You see, the more we love with our heart, the more we unlock, because the more energy we have, particularly when we stare at the sun, because when we stare at the sun, then we're getting extra energy, so supercharge ourselves. So it uses the energy of the love as the signal to know the intention of that message that you're going to unlock with the DNA key from the energy from the sun that supercharged that cell in the first place. So it's purposeful energy. You see, that's why purpose is a primary element of who we are as compass, because the energy of love has to be purposeful. I have spoken at length about what purposeful love is. And purposeful love is precisely this. Is putting all your energy, the pulse premise, right? Exercise number 6. Pulse premise is the pulse of life, the pulse of creation. Every single pulse that you emit has an intention of love and creation, right? I'm creating the highest of creations with my love because I'm infinity myself. We all are. I'm just conscious of who I am. But you are also by watching this video. And anything really beyond the video, because the DNA is shared by the whole species. So all the information that I have decoded is already available to all the humans that want to tap into it. And it's love, the mechanism. And there are so many loving humans. We're 8 billion plus. You know, we are a loving species. This is our nature. So there's so many humans tapping into this already. This beautiful creation that I have been unlocking. Because every time I unlock something with my love and my intention, light spherical technology, humans have access to it. So everything gets started, new inventions, everything, creativity, imagination, and it's the human that is doing the love themselves. The human is loving, right? It's the human that's loving, because love is the highest energy, and your body reads it. It's the energy of love. It reads it. It's the signals, and your body, you see, it's all just like the guy cutting grass, loving the job, right? Same. So, but each human to their own. So we all purposeful. We all have free will. We have our brains of our own. So we all doing the things that we love. Right? So when you do the things that you love, then what happens? I already unlocked it for everyone, because we all connected as a species to infinity. You see, this is not, we're distributed and decentralized. Everything that I do is already a life state in the DNA structure of all our civilization. And love is the key that unlocks our DNA. So you see, the human heart, DNA key as one. So, and I'm doing it, but I'm not the only one doing it. That's the thing. That's the beauty of it. Because love is that. We all love. Because I unlocked it, now everyone can follow suit. It doesn't matter where you are. If you love, you love. And when you love, you know, because you feel good. Like I do. I feel great. I feel great. But why? Because I love. Because I love. Because love is the energy, yeah. It's the signaling. Then again, neurotransmitters and hormones. The purpose of life is a life of purpose. We live to love and we love to live. But when you're conscious and purposeful and your intentions are obvious, and you know exactly what you want. In my case, I'm unlocking all the spherical technology for humanity. That's what I'm doing. Everything. Everything that's spherical and of value to humanity for the Republic of Planet Earth has been already unlocked. And to access it, you need to love with your heart. You need to love with your heart, and that's it. Simple as that. No matter how you are, you see, because as I said, you cannot fake love. Love cannot be faked, particularly at the DNA structure. It's not such a thing as I'm going to fake it. I'm going to fake love, synthetic love, or whatever. It's not real, it doesn't exist, it's primitive, and it doesn't work. Okay, so as simple as that. So it has to be real love, and real love comes from real humans. And real humans love with their heart, because that's where love comes from. Simple as that. So love is the highest energy of creation. So you have to love, because it's our instinct anyway. You see, that's what the human heart is doing. It's signaling all day long. So when you love, then you're signaling love to your body, and then your body is using those as DNA keys. And it's unlocking everything that it needs to for you to what? Enter heartful flow states. So when you're in heartful flow states, then everything starts to happen for you. Because you're living your purpose, you're living your dream, because you're loving. And this is the purpose of our species is to love. Because we are the species that can love with the energy of infinity. This is our nature. This is who we are. And because we do this is who we are, then everything that we do that is done with love, hey, it would have an infinite impact. The results are immediate. This is not like a long term, no. The results are immediate and everyone benefits immediately. And because we're creating here and now, the impacts are felt the most powerfully in the future because of our DNA structure. You see, because it's mapping everything out. Because, and again, we're telemetry and electrogravitics, and we have already created an infinite number of realities. So by loving and unlocking, then the impacts are felt first here and now with you loving it, and then in the future, at the highest levels of creation in the future, things that cannot be stopped. And then because of the density, then you start to see it on a day-to-day basis as days pass along. Because that's just the way reality works. That's just the way reality is. We created reality. This reality, we created it because we're conscious and self-awareness. Time and energy is a primary element of humanity. So if you're a human, you are creating everything with your consciousness and self-awareness. But when you're conscious of who you are and you love with the highest energy of creation, which is the human heart, then you're creating the most wonderful things because you're consciously engaged in the creation. You're engaged in the creation yourself. That's what you're there for. You're creating with your heart, with your love. You're just loving and loving and loving and creating and creating and creating. And by doing that, the most impact is felt in the future because we're infinite, you see. The infinite end state. Everything that we have created gets the feedback immediately because we're infinity ourselves. So the impacts are everywhere. And then that we just start to see that creation as starts to, we see it with our senses because of the level of density. Because we're infinity ourselves, everything gets a life status of what it is. So when you create and you unlock with your DNA, everything happens already everywhere. So, but then as you start to see the days, then you start to see it as it emerges. And that's when you start to meet other people and stuff, or other people, they just naturally start doing them because of it. It's just part of it. It's just the nature of our DNA. Because remember, at one body, the signal, right? The human heart, signaling, right? It signals. It signals. And that signal is sending all that information to all the cells of the human body, right? Because that's what it does. So then, but we're not one body, we're a species. And we're a life state, meaning I am connected with everything because I'm infinity myself, and so are you, everyone is. So when whatever I do, that signal that goes to my heart, that goes back to the heart, and the heart is the pulse of creation, which is part of the node of infinity itself, the DNA structure. So that information is not only fed to me, it's fed to everyone, everywhere, life states. And not only are for our species, all creations, all states, all life states are getting the feedback. It's as simple as that. Because of who we are, remember, we're the human race. It's our nature. It's our DNA. So you see, it's this beautiful infinite virtuous cycle of human heart and DNA key. And it's the energy from the human heart, the infinite love. And when we stare at the sun, we can love more because our DNA gets supercharged. And then that energy of love, which is the energy of creation itself, the energy of the central sun that created everything in the first place, it created us in the first place. We're channeling that energy through us. And with our love, we're just creating the most beautiful things. We're just creating the most powerful, the most beautiful things because our consciousness of awareness is just that. And because this is intentional energy, this is purposeful energy, purposeful love. You see, the DNA key just does the most wonderful things. Yeah. So this is who we are. This is this infinite virtuous cycle. What this video is about is human heart and DNA key. Making everything happen for everybody. For the Republic of Planet Earth, who we are, because we are the citizenry of the Republic of Planet Earth. This is who we are with the human race. We are the defenders of the Republic of Planet Earth. We're the leaders of the Republic of Planet Earth. As I said, the Republic of Planet Earth is a big deal and is everywhere, anytime. And the further you go into the future, the more powerful the impacts. Because of who we are, what we've done as a species, because of our legacy, our heritage. Everything encoded in our DNA. And when we love with the love of human hearts, we're decoding everything again and remapping everything again. It's what we do. It's what we do. This is what the human race does. So when you love, that's what you do. This is what we do. It's what we do. So it's this virtuous cycle. And we all human, we all citizens of the Republic of Planet Earth. We all have a human heart. So you're supposed to love. Because when you love, you create. You create. Your DNA is living its own, is encoding its own creations in the collective memory of all the human DNA and all the DNA of existence and infinity. Because as I said, because of our proximity to the central sun, our DNA is the biological expression of infinity. So everything that we do with our DNA gets communicated to all the creations that infinity is part of, which is everything. So we are big creators. Humanity, I love you all with all my heart. So I'm going to read a few things and then this will be this video. Remember, this video is about the infinite virtuous cycle of human heart and DNA key as one. Creating infinities because this is who we are. Okay, so nature. Vision drives the mission. You see the vision of love, infinite energy, infinite creation, the telemetry, time and energy, the readings of the future, the present, and the past. Here and now, forever. Because you can't change the past and you cannot change the future. Because that future is already being created. Because I'm just a memory, DNA memory. Electrogravitics, fundamental. As proud creators, who we are as proud creators, our pride as a species, extremely important. You see all the things that we do, our nature, as singularities, what we do. Energy is creation and creation is life. Love is creation. We love our creation. Love comes from the heart and the heart gives us life. Life is creation and creation is energy and love is the energy of creation. I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. I do. Maturity equals humility. Love is energy. Love is life. Love is life. Life and love, they come from the same place, the human heart. Life is creation and creation is energy. Love is the energy of creation. This is our story, the story of the human race. We're an incredible species. This is who we are. Our species, our story, our DNA. Love is infinity. It's a virtuous cycle, sundials and compass. You see, coming as one. Identity and true self, purpose, time and energy, action, why, how, flow, true north and destination, and sundial. Staring at the sun, opening the portal, building the bridge, supercharging ourselves and evolving to infinity. Who we are as a species. Who we are is our nature. We live to love and we love to live. Lives of meaning, lives of purpose. Happy lives. Purpose of life is a life of purpose. Pursuit of happiness. Very simple. We're co-creators of infinite eternities. See our space structure, spherical vacuum thresholds of infinity, what we are, sets of 64, DNA, all these is infinity, all communicated instantly, love states. Our infinite eternity, everything. It's amazing who we are. The geometry of infinity, this is who we are. We're the geometry of infinity, the biology of it. We're sentient, we love, we're emotions, we're feelings. Love equals evolution. When we love, we evolve. No fear, infinite love. You see, follow your heart, signs and signals. Go for gold and diamonds. Do it here and now. Why, how is the mechanism to manifest infinity? Why, how makes infinity come true? Through action. See, our nature. This is who we are as a species. This is truly who we are. Okay, so sundials. Open our eyes, open our hearts, open our minds, and stare at the sun. Open the portal, build the bridge. We are the biology scale of infinity. This is what we are. Biological scale of infinity. We are the creator. We are infinity. We are the singularity. We are everything that exists. We are eternity and the biological scale of it. This is who we are. This is what our DNA structure is. You see, precisely that. The human DNA, the body, the organs, the glands, infinity itself. Love is the highest energy of creation, and we're the biological expression of that. We are the highest energy of creation, and we are the human heart. Infinite eternal biology, evolution, singularities, all the organs and glands, the resonance. We are the energy from the sun, self-awareness, consciousness, love, infinite love. Love is the flow of infinity. Love is the highest energy of creation. The sun and earth as one. Purposeful goals. The human heart, the key. Parents and children, powerful dynamic. Sperm and egg, powerful dynamic. Sunlight and love, powerful dynamic. All as one. Humanity, I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. Remember who we are. We're the human race. A benevolent species, a loving species, a love-based species, a heart-based species. This is who we are. We are the citizens of the Republic of Planet Earth, the citizenry of the Republic of Planet Earth. This is who we are. We're the human race. I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. I love you all.